Hi sanibonani, welcome again kwa Stokvel Academy. Siyafunda, education goes on. This is all about learning and developing one another as the Stokvel community. Yeah, today I just want to go back to Kenya, my favorite home of successful and prosperous Stokvels. That is where I gain inspiration when it comes to this Stokvel movement. Chamas, or Chamas as they call them in Kenya, are a powerful group of people, women in particular, who are making things happen for themselves. I still yet to see that in South Africa. Women economic empowerment within Stokvels. Let me just share with you my latest discoveries or reads about Chamas in Kenya. The story goes that in the 1990s, there was a bit of economic crisis within the informal retailers who are selling clothes. As you know, countries like Kenya, they are quite big in selling beautiful, colorful garments. It so happens that at that point in time, the suppliers, local suppliers, just became all of a sudden ridiculously expensive, and which actually had a negative impact on these informal retailers. As a result of that, they had to shut down their businesses. But guess what? Because of the powerful Chamas spirit or Stokvel spirit in Kenya, these traders decided to form a garment sourcing association, or a Stokvel, that was going to source garments from other parts of the world, which happens to be China. For a moment, let's just make peace with that. And they managed to get garment at a acceptable price or reasonable price, and that took them back on their feet in terms of their retail business. That is nothing else but the power of Stokvels, or the power of Chamas as they call them. Now let's come back home. One segment that really is close to my heart, especially in terms of women economic empowerment and just family support, it's the crashes. We all know that all of us, or the majority of us, have been through a crash of one form or the other. It may have been ugogo ogade usala naye when you were still a little one, or it could have been just a crash around the block. That is, a nation building business. Actually, if you think about it, before you even go to school, you have to go through a crash. Now, this is what is bothering me about these crashes. What is bothering me is that some of them have been like that for the past 30 years. They're not developing, they're not growing, because they just don't have enough money to do anything better. And yet, don't you all know that education is big business? We now have institutions like Kuro, the Spark schools, which are actually making inroads in our townships. And yet here are these women who have been running crashes for almost 30 years, 40 years, if not 50 years, and genuinely they are struggling, some of them, to actually upgrade their crashes so that they can be able to compete with those crashes that are in the suburbs, because some parents even go to an extent of taking their children to the suburbs because they are better resourced. And yet these women who are running these crashes, imagine if they could come together and form an association or a big Stokvel that can actually enable them to equip their crashes, much better, so that they can be able to compete with the other crashes in the suburbs. That would be actually, an amazing development in terms of early child development education, which is of course nothing else but the foundation of the nation. Last week, I had an opportunity to have a meeting with a group of about 15 crash owners who are a subgroup of what they call ECD Forum in Soweto. And I was actually amazed to learn that there's about 3,000 crashes in Soweto. On average, there's about 30 to 50 children per crash. I then asked them a question. Guys, where do you actually source or buy uniform for these little ones, Botabo, Botogo, Abo Muntuza? And I was shocked to hear that they buy uniform from people, these people that we call our friends in the township. You know who I mean. I don't want to be attacked, to be sparking xenophobic, but there are those people that we call our friends, my friend, because they call us their friends. In the meantime, they are just reaping lots and lots of money out of the township economy, but they are smart. Can't blame them. So I then said to these ladies, guys, surely this is disgusting. Why can't you just start a manufacturing company for crashes in Soweto? I mean, there's about almost 150,000 little ones who attend crashes in Soweto. And yet, there isn't a single supplier for crash uniform, let alone school uniform. That's another story for another day. So guys, there's a lot that we can do to play a meaningful role in the economy, especially women. You know, one of my interesting or fascinating conversations with myself lately is the role of township women in the economy. Women-owned businesses in the economy, especially in the townships. We all know about spazas. We all know about hawkers. We all know about caterers, you know. But guys, the list goes on and on. So yes, let's take advantage of this powerful movement called a Stokvel and develop and start other businesses that can actually strengthen, nourish, and help us to grow our business and position us as meaningful role players in the economy. If the Chamas in Kenya can do it, why can't we did it? One of the former Homeland State presidents used to say that if Mangope could did it, why can't I did it? So I'm saying it to guys, it is possible. The possibilities are endless. The power lies within us. Let us just be simple or apply simple business practices or simple business opportunities are within our economy, communities. 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years down the line, there should be a different story to be told. And I would like to close this up quoting one of my favorite micro-lending founders in Bangladesh, Professor Muhammad Yunus. He says he would like to see poverty museums developing in poor communities. What that means is we need to bury poverty. Poverty should just stay there in a museum so that the children can say, oh, this is how people used to be poor. We are no longer poor because we've come together as Stokvels to actually build this economy and create generational wealth for our children and the youth of the future. Thank you. Please don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Facebook and catch up with you the day you list at the Johannesburg.